Hello everybody, Terrible Shoes back again with another video today. This is going to be another kind of like branch off from my usual type of video because there's something that's big that is going on in the Pokemon world. We don't really have a confirmed date for this yet, at least at the time of recording this. So don't come at me if they magically release a release date for this out of nowhere. Crazy hair going on here. And that is the Pokemon and Lego partnership. I think this is going to be something huge. It's going to be a great thing for both brands, in my opinion. And I want to talk about that, like, you know, from the perspective of someone who doesn't build, who is into Lego, but doesn't like build the crazy big sets. Like, for instance, I'm really big into some of the smaller sets. I've got the Animal Crossing ones. I was big into that. And I want to talk about why I think that this is going to be a really great thing, but I do want to voice a huge concern I have about this. And I'm going to be honest, you probably have heard this concern from other content creators as well, because I think it is a fairly common one. And we'll get into that in a little bit. I want to talk about the good first, and then we'll hit the bad right after that. So the good. I feel like minus one particular IP, Lego has handled Nintendo very well. Again, I am a big Lego fan. I unfortunately live in a relatively small space, so I have very limited room where I can put stuff, which kind of limits me to building some of these smaller, fun sets. Yes, that's a Ninjago one. I'm not a huge Ninjago fan, but I am a huge fan of mechs and robots and such. So I actually will oftentimes buy mechs of just about anything they put out because I'm a huge fan of the fighting robot style. It is just super cool. I love Lego minifigures. I have so many of them, both bootleg and real. Yes, I am a big collector of Chinese bootleg Legos. We got this one here, personally, is a favorite of mine. This is a bootleg. It's one of them, the Iron Drones. And on top of that, I'm a big fan of building blocks as a whole. I just recently picked this up from Five Below. It was a TMNT sewer layer where you can connect all four pieces into one. See, that is the kind of thing I think is going to be super cool because with Lego, and at least with the Animal Crossing sets, you can interconnect them in any way you want. Each set has little pieces that kind of converge off of it from in like a almost like a plush shape, almost like how the old school acres worked in Animal Crossing. And you can connect diverging pieces of land, creating your own town, which I think is really cool. Now, what does this mean for Lego and Pokemon? Oh, hi pup. What you doing? What does this mean for Lego and Pokemon? Now, if Lego were to use their brain, which I'm going to be honest, I think they will. We also want to talk a little bit about Megablox as well here. We're going to get to that right after this point. I can see Lego releasing utterly huge sets based off of the old school towns from the Game Boy games. Now, we all used to kind of make that joke where it's like, in the game, the town is just like 3 or 4 buildings, and in the anime, it's a huge animated city. However, I think something that really cool that can come from this is we could see huge black box sets that are of the full towns from the old school Pokemon games. I can see Pallet Town being a collector's set, a huge one, where it is a direct replica of what it looked like on the Game Boy, and I think that would be so cool. Obviously, those towns looked that way because of the, because A, it's for player convenience, so that way the town isn't too big and you didn't get lost in it, at least back then. That's how they looked at it. And also, it's because it's to keep the game pushing and moving. It's not like today's games where everything is open world and they want you to explore quite literally every nook and cranny. But I think that technical setback from back then can become a beautiful model that sits on your table now. Do I think they're going to do every town from Kanto? No. We're going to probably see a couple of them here and there. Things I do think we're going to see, and this is just my predictions here. I'm not claiming these are real. I think we're going to see some of the gym battles. I definitely think we will see both Ash and Red show up in these sets. I think Red will show up in the, like, kind of like what I said before, where they have like the huge collector sets where it is a huge diorama you're building. But I think Ash will possibly show up, or it doesn't even have to be Ash. It could be the other main characters from the anime. I can't remember their names at the moment. I haven't actually kept up with Horizons at all, but I can see them being in some of the small to medium sized sets as well, which I think the world of Pokemon has a ton of possibilities that another company refused to explore, and I think this will allow LEGO to move in and make huge moves here. And that company is Megablox. Megablox has made for years what are, in my opinion, medium to low quality little Pokemon figures that look close enough to what you're building, but they didn't really go much beyond that. Yes, there are some play sets of weird stuff like a Ferris wheel with an Eevee and a Farfetch'd and stuff like that, but let's be real. There's a reason that Megablox is losing this license, and it's because they clearly mishandled it. And I really hate to say this as well. I think Megablox losing this license is the final nail in their coffin. Let's be very honest here. Outside of Halo and Pokemon, Megablox does not really have a lot of other IPs to work with. And in any time I have gone to the building sections of any store, whether it be a Target or a Walmart, I don't even really see the Halo stuff anymore. I feel like any Megablox section that is there, it is purely the Pokemon one-off figures or the wall arts, which I'm going to be honest here. The wall art sets that they released, where it was the original sprites from the Game Boy, but you built them, now those were really cool. And I think LEGO could capitalize off something like that as well without directly copying Megablox. I don't know how they would do that. You'd have to leave that up to the Imagineers over there. And hopefully they'll come up with something good. Oh, sorry, I just didn't see the green light. I wanted to make sure it was running. But yeah, LEGO has got so much potential with this IP. And I want to actually show you some really fun things, or at least one really fun thing right here, that I think they can pull a lot of inspiration from too, if they don't necessarily want everything to be completely 100% pulled from the game. Because let's be real, even with IPs like Marvel and such, and Marvel, DC, not everything is 100% comic book and movie lore accurate. Occasionally you'll get like a little goofy set where like the Hulk's in a monster truck, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's fun for kids to build and play with. And that brings in a company called Keeply, which makes fun little models like this. This is a Pikachu ice cream truck. There are many other little things they make. They make Pokemon bonsai sets, where it is the figure in the middle of what you build, the bonsai plant, and you put the little figure on it. It's a nice little display piece. They're very nice. They're from Pokemon Asia, and they're extremely cheap out there. This is something I see scalped on TikTok all the time, by the way, where losers drop ship this stuff right from AliExpress for 5 times the price. So there, I snuck in a little bit of scalper hate and whatnot, and TikTok shop hate in here for those of you that are normally here for that. But yeah, Keeply makes really good sets for the price. They're usually under $10 unless you're buying them from some loser like Purple Pets on TikTok who's 4xing the price. Like absolute garbage. But that's beside the point. They make great sets, and I can see inspiration being drawn from these sets as well. I really think LEGO has this really in the bag. Then again, they could also wind up doing some stuff like this. I don't know if any of you guys have these. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. I don't know if any of you guys remember these minifigures, but these are way back from the Wish days. Yes, when Wish was stupidly popular back then. They sold a bunch of bootleg Pokemon minifigures in the Lego style, and I think that these were great. In fact, I would even go as far as to say, get my little conspiracy theory brain, the little hamster running in there, that these could have been some kind of test run back in the day to see what the reaction would be. And I don't think it was very good back then, because I saw a lot of people online complain about these figures. I owned them back in the day myself, and I actually originally gave my set away just to rebuy them recently off AliExpress. And of course, half the lot is now no longer available. Very sad. That's like a lot of good stuff right there. There's a lot of really, really good stuff that can happen with the partnership. However, I'm sure most of you knew this was coming, and I'm going to hit you with it hard. There is one way they can royally screw this up, and that is if they go down the same route as the Super Mario series. And I hate to say that, because I understand a lot of people like the series, and it's a very fun series for kids, but these huge, bulky pieces that look absolutely nothing like the characters and the minifigures, with no minifigures, I cannot see it being successful in that case, unfortunately. While Pokemon is the largest multimedia franchise in the world, even larger than Disney at this point, I still think something like that would be seen as a massive blunder and a massive disappointment to most fans, and it would unfortunately, in my opinion, result in a failure sales-wise. That's really about it. That's my piece on the Pokemon Lego partnership. Let me know in the comments down below what your opinion is, or if there's any sets that you hope are made once the start officially coming out. Megablox, I don't think they're that bad. Oh, no growling. Hold up. And I think it is a perfect time to end things here. Anyway, thank you for checking out the video today. Leave your comments below, like I said before, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for the support. I'll see you then.